Hello, friends. My name is Reena. I'm 22 years old and married into a very wealthy and prominent family. My husband's name is Rahul. Our wedding was a grand affair, filled with joy, colorful lights, delicious sweets, and a crowd of relatives. It felt like I had stepped into a fairy tale. But this beautiful dream didn't last long. A few days after our wedding, Rahul had to go abroad for his job. When he said goodbye to me at the airport, he left a strange emptiness in my heart. Now I am alone in this huge house. The house is magnificent, with large rooms, expensive belongings, and many servants. But for me, it's all meaningless because my heart is empty. Rahul is busy with his work abroad. He calls, but his conversations lack the love I crave. As a married woman, I have many desires for love, companionship, and the warmth a husband gives his wife. But without Rahul, all of this is incomplete. Every night, I lie alone in my bed, tormented. There is a fire within me that just won't be extinguished. In this solitude, my brother-in-law, Rohan, came to stay with us one day. Rohan is 25 years old, Rahul's younger brother, and has just returned home after completing his studies. Rohan is a cheerful and kind-hearted person. His laughter and conversations brought a new vibrancy to the house. At first, I didn't pay much attention to him. After all, he was my brother-in-law, and I had no ill intentions. But slowly, my eyes started to linger on him. Perhaps my loneliness was drawing me toward him. Rohan is very handsome. There's a strange magic in his deep eyes and his smile. When he talked to me, his voice would fill my ears with sweetness. Initially, our conversations were ordinary, about the house, the weather, and sometimes about Rahul. But with time, our talks began to have more depth. I noticed that Rohan was also comfortable talking to me. There were times when we would just sit in silence, but our eyes would say a lot to each other. This unspoken connection was new to me and gave my heart a sense of peace. One day, I thought, why not try to attract Rohan? I knew it was wrong. I was Rahul's wife, and Rohan was my brother-in-law. But the yearning inside me was so strong that I couldn't stop myself. I decided I would talk to Rohan romantically and wear clothes that would draw him closer to me. One evening, when no one else was home, I wore a beautiful sari. It was slightly transparent, subtly revealing the beauty of my body. I left my hair down and put on light makeup. Then I went toward Rohan's room. He was sitting there reading a book. I gently knocked on the door and went inside. "What are you doing, Rohan?" I asked with a smile. He looked at me, and a sparkle appeared in his eyes. "Just reading a book, Bobby," he said, blushing slightly. I went and sat down next to him. I deliberately let the pallu of my sari slide a little to reveal my waist. Rohan's gaze fell on my waist, but he quickly looked away. I asked him, "What kind of book is it?" "It's a love story," he replied. I smiled softly and said, "A love story? You're interested in love?" Rohan hesitated a little and said, "Yes, Bobby. Everyone falls in love." I looked into his eyes and said, "Yes, everyone falls in love, but sometimes that love isn't reciprocated." Rohan understood what I meant. He said, "Bobby, you are very beautiful. Brother is very lucky to have a wife like you." I said sadly, "He is lucky, but he isn't here. I am alone, Rohan." Rohan listened to me and said, "Bobby, I am here for you. I will keep you company." I held his hand and said, "You are a very good person, Rohan." At that moment, an unspoken connection formed between us. I felt that Rohan was also drawn to me, but he was scared. Perhaps he felt it was wrong. That night, we had dinner together and then watched a movie. During the film, I intentionally sat close to him. My elbow was touching his arm, and my heart started beating faster. Rohan also started to move closer, but then he held himself back. After the movie ended, we went to our separate rooms. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The thought of Rohan kept coming back to me. I wanted this relationship to move forward, but I was also afraid that everything might be ruined. The next day, I tried again. I wore a beautiful lehenga that draped my body gracefully, but was also a little revealing. I went to Rohan's room and said, "Rohan, I want to give you a surprise today." He asked with curiosity, "What surprise, Bobby?" I said, "I have made a special dinner for you." Tonight, it's just you and me. Rohan smiled and said, "Wow, Bobby. That's wonderful." That night, I beautifully decorated the dining table, lit candles, and played soft music. When Rohan came, he was surprised. He said, "Bobby, this is so beautiful." I said, "For you, Rohan." We had dinner together and talked. I deliberately started talking about romantic things. "Rohan, do you have a girlfriend?" I asked playfully. He blushed and said, "No, Bobby, not yet." I said, "So you've never been in love?" Rohan said, "I have been in love, but it was one-sided." I held his hand and said, "It's okay, Rohan. Love happens." At that moment, I felt that our relationship had deepened. After dinner, we sat on the sofa. I said, "Rohan, can you give me a massage? My back hurts a lot." Rohan hesitated a little but then agreed. He placed his hands on my back and started the massage. His fingers moving on my back sent a strange shiver through my body. I closed my eyes and savored the moment. "You were very good, Rohan. Your fingers have a magical touch," I whispered softly. He smiled and said, "Thank you, Bobby." Then I suddenly grabbed his hand and pulled him toward me. Our faces were very close. I could feel his breath. I looked into his eyes and felt that something was about to happen. But then Rohan pulled back and said, "Bobby, this is wrong. You are my brother's wife." I became sad and said, "Rohan, I know, but I am very lonely. I need you." He said, "Bobby, I understand your feelings, but this is not right. If anyone finds out, it will be very bad." I fell silent. He was right, but the fire in my heart was not diminishing. That night, I went to my room and cried. I was angry with myself, but what could I do? My desires were compelling me. For the next few days, I kept my distance from Rohan. I didn't want any misunderstanding between us. But my feelings for him deepened even more. One day, I saw him walking in the park. I quietly followed him. The park was secluded. I went to him and said, "Rohan, I want to tell you something." He said, "Yes, Bobby, tell me." I gathered my courage and said, "Rohan, I know this is wrong. But I've fallen in love with you. I can't live without you." Rohan looked at me in shock and said, "Bobby, what are you saying? This can't be." I held his hand and said, "Rohan, please don't reject me. I'm so lonely." He looked into my eyes and said, "Bobby, I also love you, but this is wrong. We can't do this." I said, "Rohan, we can meet secretly. No one will know." Rohan thought for a moment and then said, "Bobby, this is very risky, but I understand your feelings. I will be there for you." At that moment, a wave of happiness washed over my heart. I hugged him and said, "Thank you, Rohan. You've won my heart." The next day at 10 p.m., it was raining heavily outside. The raindrops were falling as if my heart's pain was pouring down. Lightning flashed repeatedly, and the house was in darkness. In the faint candlelight, Rohan and I were alone. My husband, Rahul, had been abroad for months, and I was all by myself in this big house. I had gone outside to get some clothes, and the rain had drenched me. My sari was clinging to my body. Water was dripping from my hair, and I was shivering from the cold. I came in front of Rohan in my wet clothes. He was sitting on the sofa in the living room, and when he saw me, his gaze became fixed. My sari was wrapped around my body in such a way that every part of me was visible. I saw a sparkle in his eyes, a desire. "Reena, Bobby, you're soaked. You should change your clothes quickly," he said, but his voice had a hint of nervousness. I ignored him. I wanted him to see me like this. I went to him and sat down on the sofa next to him. The longing that had been suppressed in my heart for months now wanted to come out. "Rohan, I can't bear this loneliness anymore," I said, my voice filled with pain and tears in my eyes. "Bobby, why are you saying that?" he asked, looking at me. "Your brother is never home. I'm dying alone in this house. I need someone who understands me, who is with me. I am a woman, Rohan. My heart and body have their own needs," I said, and I didn't stop my tears. He remained silent but placed his hand on my shoulder. His touch gave me comfort. I looked at him and said, "Rohan, I just need a little love. Can't you give me that?" "Bobby, this is wrong. You are my brother's wife, he said, but his voice was weak. I know. But Rahul has forgotten me, and I can't wait any longer, I said, and moved even closer to him. He hesitated, but then he held me in his arms. His warmth gave my body some relief. I clung to his chest, and then he tilted my chin up. There was a desire for me in his eyes. Slowly, he placed his lips on mine. That night, we crossed all the boundaries. Amidst the sound of the rain, we lost ourselves in each other. After that night, our relationship changed. We couldn't live without each other. During the day, we behaved normally, but whenever we got a chance, we would meet secretly. Rohan loved me a lot. He would do small things for me, sometimes bring me flowers, sometimes kiss my hand. His every touch gave my heart peace. One day, when no one was at home, we were in my room. He held me in his arms and said, "Bobby, you are very beautiful. I can't live without you." I looked into his eyes and said, "Rohan, you have filled my life with colors. I also love you very much." We came closer to each other. I could feel his breath on my face. He kissed me, and then our desire brought us together again. In that moment, everything felt right, even though I knew it was wrong. Rohan took away my loneliness and quenched my thirst. I was very happy. A few days later, I started having morning sickness. My stomach began to hurt. At first, I thought I had eaten something bad. But when it happened repeatedly, I became suspicious. I took a test, and the truth was revealed. I was pregnant. I was scared. When I told Rohan, he also got worried. "Bobby, what will we do now? If brother finds out, everything will be over," he said. "I don't know, Rohan. I'm scared too," I said, my hands trembling. We thought we might be able to hide it, but it wasn't easy. There was a fear in my mind about what would happen if Rahul found out the truth. Then, one day, Rahul came home without telling us. He wanted to surprise me. He was very happy to see me. He hugged me and said, "Reena, I missed you so much." But then his eyes went to my stomach. "Reena, are you pregnant?" he asked. I was silent. I had no answer. "Tell me, how did this happen?" "I haven't been home for months," he said in a stern voice. I started crying and told him the whole truth. "Rahul, I was so lonely. You were never with me. Every night, I suffered." Rohan supported me, and our relationship grew. "This child is his." Rahul's face turned red with anger. "You cheated on me. And with my own brother. Whose child is this?" "There's no need to ask. You have disgraced me," he screamed. "Rahul, you were my husband. But you never understood my loneliness. I'm a human being. My heart and body have needs too," I said, crying, but he didn't listen to a word. He immediately said, "I divorce you. You and Rohan both get out of here." I thought that at least Rohan would stand by me. I said to him, "Rohan, what do we do now?" But he replied in a cold tone, "Bobby, I can't accept you. This was all a mistake. I can't take responsibility for this child." His words pierced my heart like a knife. The person I trusted abandoned me. Now I am alone. I have a child in my womb, and I have nothing. Rahul has divorced me. Rohan has rejected me. Every day, I cry over my mistake. I wish I had suppressed my feelings. I wish I had been patient, then I wouldn't have had to face this day. The path I chose to quench my thirst has ruined me. Now I am just living with regret. My story is a lesson. Love and desire are beautiful, but if they lead you down the wrong path, they only bring pain. Friends, what do you think of this story? Please share your thoughts. If you liked this story, please like and share it. For more stories like this, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon.